So we played shows all over Michigan, and it's real heavy shit. I've always been a metalhead. Like that is my roots, is metal. I get the cops called on me.
Yeah.
Because I was a metal drummer. I hit hard.
Yeah.
And so I've always dreamt of a place where I could play drums any time of day, any time of night, and not get noise complaints. I think Dave Grohl said, just get in the garage and start jamming with your friends and just suck and just keep sucking until you don't suck.
Until you don't suck anymore. There we go. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rap Roots Media. We are here today with Pablo EskoBear. You're here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you. So we met at Push the City Cypher. First of all, we met there, but I want to get down into the nitty gritty of it. I like to ask every guest your origin story in the music space, sort of how music came to you. So go ahead with that first off.
I started playing drums when I was 12. Played in just started playing with friends in high school. Eventually started a metal band with three of my best friends, and continued to play in that metal band for about 10 years. So probably from 16 until I was about 26. So we played shows all over Michigan, and it's real heavy shit. I've always been a metalhead. Like that is my roots, is metal. I'm a metal drummer. That was awesome. Some of the funnest years of my life, and that's how I really dove knee deep into the music world was playing metal. So, after that band split up in, I don't know, 2016 or something like that. We just kind of, people were going different directions. Then I started kind of fooling around with making beats. Originally on Reaper, which is an awful program for making beats, in my opinion. In college, I went to Western, and I got a copy of Ableton Live from this dude that was DJing that gave up on DJing, and he's like, I don't want to do it anymore. Do you want this copy of Ableton Live? Like, I just bought it. I don't use it anymore. Yeah, sure. Like, I got it for free. And then it was just kind of, it was all history from there. I just kept learning and watching YouTube tutorials and picking it up more and more. And over the years, I fooling around with just making beats, and then it kind of escalated into, what I'm doing today.
Yeah, the engineering stuff, putting beats together. Do you do the engineering stuff as well? Are you mixing and mastering?
Yeah. I'm kind of one-stop shop. I play drums. That's my instrument that I play. Really when I play fluently, I'd say. And then, record, mix, master.
So you said you're a big metal guy. That's sort of where the roots came from.
Yeah.
Where does the intersection into hip hop fall into that? Were you a big fan, or just something you sort of fell into?
I kind of fell into it. I've always liked hip hop to a degree, but I wasn't super into it, middle school, high school. There was certain stuff that I liked, but I was really a metalhead, and I was, I guess, a lot more closed-minded when I was younger about music, and very, very specific about what I wanted to listen to. And then over the years, as I grew up, my mindset opened up more, and I don't know. I think getting into hip hop, I started in college, really, when I really dove into it. And I started getting into a lot of instrumental hip hop and rap. And when I started fooling around with music production by myself, it was like I can make full songs. I can make a full production with all these different instruments all on my own. I don't have to rely on other musicians to do it. And it's just a really exciting, captivating feeling, because normally it's just I'm just playing drums, and I got to have other people to make this
to make the music.
Yeah,
to make the music happen.
Yeah.
Is that something that you did? Because I hear a lot of artists tell me, like, I would love to executively produce. I would love to bring in different people who play these different instruments and do have that live instrumentation of it compared to where working on a computer is just different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what would you say is like your preference? Is it the live sound of having other people to work alongside you and in like a band sense, or production on a computer, or what's
Well, I mean, both are great. I do enjoy both for sure. Like the way my studio is set up, I can do both, and that's kind of how I built it. But um, it just depends on the music that I'm making, really. Like um, there's just like a lot of like rap beats are just sound better with samples, and
yeah,
and you can do most of it on a laptop,
yeah,
and that's just kind of where that sound comes from. But there's certain songs that call for live musicians, call for live drums, and um, I'm not an elitist one way or the other.
mm.
You know, although I'm a drummer, I don't record drums on all my beats. Like if the beat calls for it, I'll record myself on live drums, or I'll do a mix, samples and live drums. But I don't know. I like both aspects, and being open to both. So.
What do you think has been your biggest blessing when it comes to this whole production situation, your career, I would call it? Like, biggest thing that where you looked at that and you were like, damn, that's a really huge accomplishment. Because a lot of us sort of like, we're always like, next thing, next thing.
Yeah.
So what was like one time you really stopped and processed and were like, damn, this is a fucking cool thing that just happened to me?
I won a jammy at the WIC Jammies a couple years ago.
That's dope.
Yeah, so that was totally unexpected, but very cool. So people that don't know, WICE 88.1 local radio
That's
station.
the spot.
Yeah.
All you local artists that are looking to get on the radio, that's the spot right there.
Yeah, awesome station. They're across the map. They play everything,
Yeah.
But yeah, every year they have what they call the Jammies, which is like their version of the Grammys, for local artists, and give away awards for best hip hop album, best electronic album, best country album, everything. So I won best electronic album, which is not really electronic, but the hip hop was reserved for more of the rap game, and I won that for best electronic album for one of my instrumental beat albums.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
that was pretty sweet.
In terms of collaboration, are you very picky with who you work with? In terms of like, you got to be a serious artist, you got to be someone that's putting the work, or would you work with someone that's like completely new to hip hop, completely new to making music, or is it just about like, as long as you got the money for my services, I'll do what I need to do?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm getting more pickier these days.
Yeah.
And for a couple different reasons. Like I have a full-time job right now because I don't make much off music. It's hard to make money in the music industry.
It is.
It's hard to make it a full-time job. I mean, that's always been my dream, and that's still my goal. But as of now, I don't have to rely on the music to make money, and I think that's a good thing in a way because I can be selective.
You can be selective and don't have to.
So no, I don't really work with brand new people to music. I do tend to limit it to people that are more serious and people that I want to work with, people that I think as far as rap goes, like if I am into the rap, or especially local rappers, like, and they have a good following, like that's I'm all about more exposure and expanding my brand rather than just making a quick buck. On the other hand, I do sell beats online to rappers too.
Yeah.
So, that's more of a transactional thing. It's a little less relationship based, and for that, it's a nice little side hustle. But with when building my brand locally, working with musicians, and trying to just keep it to people that are serious about music.
Out of these musicians that you've worked with rappers that you've worked with, who do you think is going to be like that next up breakout star to come from Michigan? Like, I guess like a Big Sean or an Eminem or someone who really takes over the like nationwide from Michigan. Who do you see that being?
Yeah, man, that's hard to say. Yeah. Sonny Ski was one of the ones I was probably going to say he's got that potential. I've been working with him lately, and man, he's just got a lot of drive. He's got a lot of motivation. He's obviously very
When
talented.
he walked in here, I was like, he's got something. Like the
Yeah,
moment I seen him like walk in here and he came to talk, he wasn't like an asshole or arrogant or
yeah,
any of that. He was like I know what I'm good at. I know how to entertain people, and that's what I do.
yeah. And he's very self confident. I mean, he doesn't have a giant ego like some rappers. He's pretty down to earth dude, and he's his stuff he raps about is real too. I mean, he's not talking about driving Escalades and selling cocaine, and he's like stuff that he doesn't
Yeah.
do. Like
Yeah.
it's real. It's about his life, and so I think that's pretty cool. I think he's got a lot of potential for sure. I think he's up there. Nyla Lewis as well. We're working with her. Released a song with her not too long ago. She's got a lot of that same drive, motivation, super talented, one of the most talented rappers I've worked with here in the area. So I think she's got a lot of potential as well. Yeah.
Good to hear. I wanted to talk to you about The Grandest. That song, obviously, on the radio recently,
Yeah.
did pretty well for Sonny. How did that process come together? Did he hit you? You hit him to work?
Yeah, I mean, so he had been in my studio a couple of times, prior to that. But
Just like popping in like on other people's sessions, or
what was the first project that we worked on? I think I ended up just inviting him over because I wanted to work with him,
Yeah.
show him the studio, and then just show him a bunch of beats. And he ended up kind of like freestyling on a couple of them, and we weren't expecting to necessarily make something like a full track that day. But one of the beats he was freestyling on was that one, and because he really liked the vibe. That one was a instrumental called "Counting Cards" that was on one of my instrumental albums a couple years ago. So and there's some crossover, right? I release instrumentals on the streaming platforms, and I also make beats for rappers. But
okay.
and there's
So you'll release like beat tapes, and then also simultaneously you'll release like these beats that can be purchased by basically anyone.
exactly, yeah,
Okay.
100%. And there's a little bit of crossover there. Like sometimes my instrumentals could also be rap beats.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like I know this song is just going to stand on its own. Sometimes I'm like, this would be boring on its own. It's got to have a rapper on it. But sometimes there's both. And like that song was like, I think in that middle ground where I released it because I did think it was a banger and it could stand on its own. But also I was like, somebody could rap on this. And of course he heard it and you wanted to do it. And I was like, perfect. Let's do it. So, yeah, he kind of laid down like an initial kind of a verse on it, and then came back and refined it, and we banged it out.
That's awesome. I never hit you about this idea, but I thought about it. I almost wanted to come out to your space.
Yeah,
I never texted you about it, and I realized it today.
yeah.
I wanted to come out to your space because I saw Benny Blanco was on Zane Lowe, the Apple Music guy. He does all those interviews out there.
Yeah.
And they did it at his studio. And I think like with a lot of the producers I'm going to work with moving forward, I think that'll be cool because you could really like, how did this song come together? And you could just pull it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is how it came together.
I was thinking about suggesting it too, but I was like, I don't know, maybe next time.
Next time, hey.
Yeah,
Next
just
time, for sure.
come over anytime, man.
Alrighty. I know that studio spaces take a lot of work to build, to finance, to put money back into it, and when things break. How long of a process did that take to get your studio to a place where you wanted it to be, where things aren't breaking consistently, like where it was at a good spot where you felt confident with it?
Well, to back up, so like I said, I was playing drums since I was 12, and everywhere I've ever played drums, I've gotten noise complaints. Like my friend's house, parents' house, like regardless, I'd get the cops called on me.
Yeah.
Because I was a metal drummer. I hit hard.
Yeah.
And so I've always dreamt of a place where I could play drums any time of day, any time of night, and not get noise complaints. So when I bought my house in Easttown like 5 years ago, part of the reason,
Dude, you live in Easttown. Easttown is the spot. I'm sorry to interrupt, but Easttown is so cool.
I love Easttown. It's a good spot. But yeah, it's part of the reason I got the house has really high ceilings, abnormally high ceilings for a Michigan basement. It doesn't make sense. It's an old house built in 1901, but it's got really high ceilings and it's a big basement, and that's kind of what I was looking for. I was buying a house, like part of my idea process is I'm going to build at least a soundproof room where I can play drums. Like a studio with multiple rooms was like a bonus because I had that space. So you know, paid one of my buddies, shout out to Cuba Builders. We put our heads together, and I paid him and to build this for me. And so we did like double layers of drywall, double layers of ceiling tile, mass loaded vinyl rolled up above the ceiling, acoustic insulation, you know, got the live room, the control room, windows in between, the vocal booth, window in between there, and then a bathroom too. So yeah, it turned out awesome, and it's dead quiet in there. And you know, my neighbors are a driveway away on each side in East Town. And I remember after I was done building it, I was jamming on my drums, and I went to my neighbor and I was like, can you hear anything? He's like, as far as I know, you don't know how to play drums. That's the best thing I ever heard. So it's a blast.
It's like vindication after all these years of being kicked
Yeah.
out of garages and basements, and they finally can't hear anything.
Yes, yeah, it was a dream come true, and I'm still so grateful to this day to have that space. So yeah, I invested a lot of time and money. It took probably 4 months to get that thing built, and but yeah, it turned out awesome. And I mean, the you know, investing in the gear, you know, that was more expensive too.
Yeah.
But and I've been acquiring more over the years. You know, stuff doesn't break that much or as much as you think, except my drum stuff does break
drum
cymbals
stuff, yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Occasionally some gear will break, and I gotta upgrade some gear, but yeah, I mean, I try to keep it plug and play. That's kind of my whole idea. Like, I always have my drum mics hooked up to my kit. I always have the vocal booth set up, the mic in there. I just gotta like turn on the interface, both project, hit record. So if I want to go on the drums, you know, I can bring my laptop in there, and it connects to my interface all the way through the other room, so I can actually record myself on my kit. I don't have to have, you know, somebody else in the control room recording me while I'm in there playing drums.
Yeah.
I set it up so I can bring my laptop in there and record myself.
That's smart.
Yeah, have it as plug and play as possible, so that, you know, stuff, ideas can flow flawlessly. You don't have to be like, okay, hold on, let me run all these chords and hook all this up. Like, you want guitar? Like, here's the chord, let's go. Yeah, that's for more or less how I try to have it. You know.
So with this music space, I feel like music to most people, like most people that are in this space locally at least, it's a hobby. It's something that they hope to make their career. How do you feel about, like, what gave you the confidence to really just believe I can do this, whether it was the band or whether it was trying production, whether it was, I'm sure, learning how to mix and master was a learning curve in itself. What gave you that confidence just to just be like, new endeavor, I can do it?
It's just kind of built over time. Escalated over time, I guess. And it wasn't so much like, with the studio, like, I knew, like, even if me making hip hop beats didn't work out, right? Like, I never, you know, made it a full-time career, or, you know, got a huge following off of it or whatever. I was never going to regret building that studio in my basement. Like,
Yeah.
even if I never release music ever again,
still-
it's like the most fun thing ever
And
to have.
even that's just like that's a revenue stream in itself. Because if you wanted to, you could be like, all right, I'm gonna need 60 for you to record here, and then everything is like a different revenue stream, which I think is something super smart that you've done. Is the beats, that's a transaction. The studio, that's a transaction.
Right. So I mean, I know, like,
the monetary game, even if it's not a full-time career, it's still great extra money.
Yeah. And you know, it's, I'm more about the exposure than the money these days.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, and I always think about, you know, I could, maybe quit my full-time, desk job and, you know, just record any and every artist that can afford studio time and kind of whore out my studio every day. I could, you know, whore out my studio to anybody that's got money to pay for studio time, and, you know, come in, I'll record your music and record your band or your rap album or whatever. But
because you could really record anyone, not just.
I mean, I have the skills and I have the studio, but that's not really what I want to do. You know, I think I'd burn myself out. I don't want to listen to this to some 18-year-old kid record the same guitar riff 30 times in a row until he gets it right. You know, like, and nothing against, you know, I was in those shoes, not as a guitarist, but playing in a metal band when I was like 16. We recorded at studios, and so I was that kid, and we were
I
those
did
idiots at the studio that
I
like,
did
didn't
independent
practice our songs enough before we went.
Yeah, I did independent music, and I was like the only one who would like come with somewhat of a song written, and then I'd have like my song done, and my friend would be like, "Bro, let me get on that," and then it was like, "No, I don't want you." Like I came in here with my song written. You need to do the same.
Right. No, I mean it's not even so much that, but I just I only have so much time because I do have a full-time day job, and so I've only had so much time to make music outside of my job, and I want to concentrate that on like music that I like, that I want to make, and people that are serious about
That will
music.
give you the exposure you need, but also the artist building
Yeah,
connection.
exactly. So I mean, and I have a lot of talented, friends and people that I know in the area too that, want to record with me, and some I do, and I ended up over the past couple years I end up saying yes too much, and then I get overloaded with stuff often. So
I think that's what I've done to a certain extent, and I'm trying to like once I set up my little studio space, I feel like I'm gonna get a bit more picky
yeah,
because I was doing it because I was like, okay, I need to build my reps as a interviewer, as a host. I need to build up the reps and get the podcast to a decent place before I'm interviewing big names. So I was like, yeah, let's say yes to everybody that wants to interview. Let's do it. And now I'm at the point where like I've interviewed some at least big names in this space. So I'm like, well, maybe let's not say yes to every 14-year-old on SoundCloud. Let's not say yes to everybody.
you can get a little bit more choosy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like to stay diversified. And record different producers.
But also, I will say this: I'm thankful for everybody, even like the kids on SoundCloud making music, because there's some smart kids. Like there's some smart people out there that are using BandLab or whatever the case may be to make some good songs. And I've met some very smart people who did have to do that and did use that to their advantage. So not hating on anybody. I'm just saying I'm a little selective. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell me about what is your connection with the people at Local Spins? How is that relationship sort of grown over time? Because I know you said you wanted Jammy with WSEE.
Yeah.
Your song was on the radio last week. That's pretty dope. So do you have like a connection with people over there?
Yeah, WYC plays my stuff a lot, actually. I was nominated again for a Jammy last year. I didn't win one last year, but I performed actually at the Jammies. But no, I just started sending them music over the years. I met a couple people that worked there and that dug my music, and just kind of kept sending them every release, and it's just kind of snowballed over the years.
I feel like more and more over time we're seeing more and more collaboration here, which I think is going to be what leads the city to prominence in hip hop specifically, like being more of a, I call them like hub cities, like a New York or an Atlanta or New York. I already said New York, but like California. Those are the cities I think of and like associate with hip hop. I feel like Detroit and Flint sort of have that a little bit because they have a unique sound. And I feel like the more as Grand Rapids continues to collaborate more, different artists working with different producers, different scenes getting involved with one another, it just allows us more pop, more ways to grow.
Yeah.
And I love seeing that, like with the Art Prize stuff that happened recently. I was like, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
This is what we need.
To hear about that too. I mean, those guys, congrats to all of them. I mean, they killed it. I watched one of their Art Prize, performances, and it was pretty sweet.
I'm the type of person who I'm like, I understand that like rap beef and all those things are like a part of like this culture, but at the same time, I feel like if everyone wants their music to be successful, then it's about the collaboration. It's about working together, building those relationships that span not only just with the music, but outside of it as well.
No doubt. Yeah. I'm all about the collaboration. I'm working with quite a few local artists right now, on a collaboration EP thing.
That's dope. This is the first time I've ever mentioned this idea, but I feel like you'd be a good person to talk to about it. I am looking to do something similar with some of the artists that I've worked with as a part of sort of like what Lyrical Lemonade did with their album. They had put an album out with just like a bunch of hip hop artists that they had worked with over like their 10 years. Okay. And I feel like we could do something similar with local artists because there's so many different styles of rap here, I feel like. So I feel like having that diverse sorry guys, diverse sound of Michigan would really add to that continuous growth that we've been having over the last several years, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt.
And I'm happy to hear that you're working on something like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I am. Can't speak too much to it because it's not announced yet, but I think next summer is when it's planning on coming.
Next summer, get ready.
Yeah, love collaborating. I mean, just getting different artists from in the room that can play different instruments or come from different backgrounds and just making music, even if it doesn't necessarily have an end goal or like we're gonna make this type of song or it's gonna be for this or this album, but just creating music with people that I like and people that
creating for this, for the sake of it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't turn out to be anything, it doesn't. But sometimes the energy in those rooms is just so much fun, you know.
Yeah, when people are creating for the sake of it and not for a specific purpose of like, oh, this is going on my album or this is like the lead single or whatever.
Yeah,
it allows it to be a lot more of a fun process and less of like a stressful process because people, even if they don't say they do it, people are like, oh, album's out next year, and they have this like timetable of when this song needs to be done so that the album can get ready, and it's just like a stressful process for these artists. But when you're just creating, having fun in that space and not worried about, oh, when is this coming out? It's less, I don't know, strenuous.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes that's how the best music comes out.
Yeah.
You don't really have that end goal of the listener in mind. You're just creating and
for you.
Yeah. Rick Rubin preaches about that a lot.
I love Rick Rubin. Yeah. Now, I would love if we could talk about him here for a minute. Yeah, he is awesome. That's a dude I would kill to have on this show. I love Rick Rubin. I was talking to Stax about him recently, and I want to get his book.
I read his book.
You read his book?
Yeah, well, I listened to the audio book because I'm a busy guy, but but it's phenomenal, and he narrates himself too, which is nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of good gems in there, and a lot of things that like I've always thought about, but I've never actually heard it put into words. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, that's so true. It makes sense. I've experienced that. And
do you take a lot from him because he's obviously engineer, producer, worked in the music game for decades? Do you is that I guess not necessarily a mentor, but person you look up to in this hip hop space?
Oh yeah, 100%. Not an engineer at all. The crazy thing is that guy doesn't know how to engineer anything. He's that's the funny thing. He's not like a beat maker. He can't fluently play any instruments. You put him on Ableton or Pro Tools or anything. He doesn't use anything really.
No, he sounds so good.
His expertise has always been getting the most authentic self out of the artist and making them feel comfortable and in a space where their truest art comes forth. Yeah. And then he, guides them in that direction and, offers, of course.
I wonder what his title would be at like a music label because, like you said, it's a producer.
Widely used term. It can mean a lot of different things. Like I'm a producer, but I'm also a beat maker, and but like there's some producers like him that don't touch anything technical with their hands at all, and then there's some that are all technical.
More of like the advising sort of in a sense, like advising.
You get to that like, when you're in like huge record labels. It's like there's a whole team and yeah, you can kind of split that up.
Now that we've talked a bit about that, I feel like this is a perfect transition question. We talked about a little bit how he's a mentor for you. What would your advice be to any like young kids who are like, I really love hip hop, or I really love the beats I hear on YouTube, or whatever the case may be? What advice would you give to them if they're looking to get into beat making or production? In terms of what some things you've learned, or how do you think they could benefit from your advice? And what advice would you give?
I'd say get a copy of Ableton Live, because I'm an Ableton guy. Okay. Biased towards that. No, but Fruity Loops, I mean, you can make the same beat on any DAW, right? And that's what I always tell people. It doesn't necessarily matter the DAW you have. We can make the same beat on all ones, just about how you get there. And, certain ones make it a little bit more workflow friendly, but a laptop and a DAW, start there, and just start messing around and don't put pressure on yourself and just mess around and suck until it starts to sound.
I think that's a huge thing, is don't put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Because even if you want to, this is something that I struggle with, even with this, is Rome wasn't built in a day. Like you're gonna get better, and like my thing is I'm trying to get better at an exponential rate, and it's not always as quick as I want it to be, and I sometimes struggle with the patience of it.
Yes. Yeah.
But don't take yourself too serious. Don't push yourself too hard. Give yourself the grace you need, because if you're chasing after something, you're gonna get proficient, get better at it every time you do it. So don't force yourself to like, I need to be this, because
I think Dave Grohl said, just get in the garage and start jamming with your friends and just suck and just keep sucking until you don't suck.
until you don't suck anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people need to hear, because we put so much pressure on ourselves, so much
Yeah. And I still do.
outside
I put a lot of
pressure.
pressure on myself too.
Yeah.
I work myself and burn myself out too. But yeah, I mean, you know, I sucked for years before I started getting good at making beats. So.
There you go. So it's okay to suck, and if you suck, keep sucking, because you'll get better. All right. I think that was great. I think that was a great final question for us to ask you. We got about 30 minutes here, so I feel like that's a great stopping point. Thank you for coming on the show.
Can I plug my Lady CP real quick?
Plug everything and anything you need to. That camera right down the pipe. Tell them what you got going on.
I just released the EP called Miami Money, and it's on all the streaming platforms. It's a short little EP. It's like 80 sample beats. So it's a vibe for sure. It is normally it's a little different than some of my other stuff, just because I usually stray away from the 80s when I tend to look for samples, because a lot of the drums in the 80s music are like, the drums are just
Yeah.
and it's hard to EQ them out and put my own drums and insert them. So I always would stay away from the 80s, but I found some great gems and some really cool stuff that I sampled into a few 80s style trap beats. So I just dropped that recently.
Awesome.
Check that out.
Yeah. Tell them. Also, tell them your socials. Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, Instagram, Pablo.EskoBear, EskoBear. I'm on TikTok as well, same. Facebook, Spotify, you name it, YouTube. So get in.
Perfect. Check out Rap Roots Media, raprootsmedia.com. Donate if you can. We appreciate you guys who do donate. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on all the socials, Rap Roots Media. And that's it for you guys. We out. Deuces.